Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's session. As you jump on, let me know where you are listening in from, whether you're listening in from Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, the UK. For some of you, you are just starting your day, and for some of you, it is last night. Gotta love the time differences. So today I was doing my botanical garden walk with Matt, and I was just allowing universe to speak about what you need to hear tonight. And as I was walking, I started thinking about marathons, and I started thinking about the Tour de France, and I started to think about Ironmans. And I was like, universe, keep fleshing this out for me. I'm not sure what you're on about. And universe said, hi Vishal, if you were to sit down with a marathon runner, yes, they know that to complete a marathon, they have to do 42 kilometers. However, their focus is they set checkpoints for themselves. So it's not, okay, I'm going to run 42 kilometers today. It's, okay, I'm going to get to 1 kilometer. I'm going to get to 5 kilometers. And they break down this massive thing of 42 kilometers down to something that is achievable for the mind to grasp and the body to push through to achieve. The next thing was the Tour de France. So the Tour de France is, hundreds of kilometers and uphills and downhills and in the country and in the city. And it is a mammoth ride. But as a cyclist, yes, you have to cover that much territory in the amount of time, but for a rider, it's about getting to the checkpoint and breaking down the overwhelming feat of the Tour de France into, small little nuggets. And an Ironman has a significant distance to swim, a significant distance to ride, and they have to do a marathon distance. And again, it's about just one stroke in the water. And it's about the checkpoints with the ride. And again, it's about the checkpoints with the run. And whilst the Ironman or Ironwoman knows they have this amount of time to be in the water, and if they go over that, they're disqualified. And they have this amount of time to be on the bike. If they go over that, they're disqualified. And then with the ride, they've got until midnight to do it. Hey, Shelby. So whilst it can seem like an overwhelming thing, they break it down into small nuggets. Now, this approach to fitness, this approach to sports, can be applied to every aspect of your life, whether it's the next promotion at work. You might have to do this many presentations to get to that position. So for you, break it down to get through this presentation, work on the next presentation. Get through this presentation, work through the next presentation. If you're a network marketer, you might need a certain amount of people to be under you to be earning decent money in the company. And that can seem quite overwhelming to have, 10, 20, 30 plus people under you to be earning money from the company. But break it down, and usually the most successful network marketers, it was the next person. How can I help one person? How can I impact one person's life? So when you break down an overwhelming goal into its nuggets, it's much more achievable and it's much more realistic. Now, this approach can be applied to mortgages, it can be applied to weight loss, it can be applied to quitting smoking. So many different areas of your life. You might be looking at the big picture and it's so overwhelming and it requires so much effort and it requires so much work. But when you break it down into its little nuggets, yes, it will still require some work, but it's actually something exciting and something to look forward to. So in the case of needing to lose 50 kilos, what needs to happen is you need to create your smarter goal. So 50 kilos is a specific goal, but the question is, how are you going to measure it? So how much time are you going to give yourself to lose the weight? Is it actually achievable to lose 50 kilos in the amount of time you're giving yourself? Is it realistic to lose 50 kilos in the amount of time you're giving yourself? Are you giving yourself the right amount of time to achieve that goal? How are you going to evaluate how close or how far away you are from that goal? And what are you going to be doing to review the effectiveness of the plan of getting closer? So 50 kilos is quite a big amount of weight to lose. So when you break it down to your nuggets, 5 kilos is a really good checkpoint. Now, a realistic amount of weight to lose is between 1/2 to 1 kilo a week. If you are on top of your nutrition, if you're having a good amount of water, if you're doing a decent amount of exercise, so about 45 minutes of moderate intensity, at least working up a little bit of a sweat, at least 5 days a week, and you are keeping on top of your health, it is a realistic thing to lose 1/2 to 1 kilo a week. If you're not losing 1/2 to 1 kilo a week and you are on top of your nutrition, you're exercising, you're drinking water, I would ask you, what things are you doing that you're forgetting to take into account? What things are you not considering? Are you drinking alcohol? Do you smoke? Do you have irregular sleep patterns? Do you have a lot of stress and nervousness and anxiety? Because your hormonal balance will impact on your ability to lose weight. If you're really stressed, you will have cortisol pumping through your body. And when you have cortisol pumping through your body, you have to remember that the human body has not evolved at the same rate as society. Our body still thinks that we're in the caves fighting mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and, oversized beluga whales. And our body still thinks that, we're going to be running for, 14, 16 hours a day. And our body still thinks that we're living on rations. So our body, once it has cortisol pumping through it, our body thinks, oh, they're gonna burn it off because they're gonna be active all day long. Our body, our physiology has not evolved with society. So if you've got too much cortisol pumping through your body, that really does affect your body's ability to burn fat. So that's when you need to get your GP involved in your weight loss journey and make sure that every aspect of the journey has been considered. Do you have diabetes? And, nutritional aspects have to be considered. And there's lots of different factors. If you've got PCOS, if you've got endometriosis, there's a lot of medical issues that can affect your ability to lose or gain weight. So that's why every factor has to be considered when you decide to do a weight loss journey. And that's why you need to have your checkpoints. With a mortgage, you might have a $250,000 mortgage, and that's a lot of money to try and clear. So, okay, you've got a $250,000 mortgage, so that's specific. How are you going to measure how close or far away you are from paying off the mortgage? And have you set yourself a certain time that you want to pay the mortgage? Like you want to clear $250,000 in 10 years. So is that an achievable goal? Is that a realistic goal? And how are you going to evaluate how you're working towards that? And how are you going to review if what you're doing is effectively working towards that? Is it realistic that you can find $25,000 a year over the next 10 years to go towards your house? Is that achievable? Is that realistic? That's really up to you to decide. But those are the things to consider when it comes to looking at something that's really big. That's what you need to take into consideration when you're looking at something that seems overwhelming. Now, the other night, I said to you, one of my mentors that I'm really listening to now that's really helping me to reset my mindset, he says to all of his employees that work with him, all of his coaches and trainers, don't ever come to me and say, I don't know how. You're allowed to come to me and say, I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure it out. Don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions. You can come to me with a problem and say, hey, I was thinking maybe these things could be a solution. So that's really what I want you to do with something that you're looking at today, something that seems really big, something that seems quite overwhelming. I really want you to ask yourself, how can you break it down into little measurable nuggets? How can you make the overall goal truly specific, truly measurable, truly achievable, truly realistic, an effective timeline attached to it, proper evaluation methods in place, and a proper review process in place? When you follow the smarter logic with a goal, big or small, it is really hard to fail. If your goal is so specific, you've got good measures in place, there's a really good timeline in place, it's a really achievable and really realistic goal, and you're constantly evaluating and reviewing and changing accordingly, there's going to have to be an absolutely epic reason why you didn't achieve the big goal. So if there's a goal that you are thinking about that you're sitting there and thinking, Amy, I actually don't know how to move forward. I'm so stressed. I'm so overwhelmed. I would love for you to type in the comments, and I would love to help give you a little bit of guidance. I'm the kind of person that I actively acknowledge I don't know everything. But I also acknowledge that I take the time to find the experts that I can tap into, that I can go to them and say, hey, I don't know the answer, but I know you do. I don't know the solution to this problem, but I know you do. And working with that expert to find the solution. So, my stepmom is helping me with my budget. My stepmom's helping me with my menu and my shopping list. And my stepmom has got a little book that she's created, that she's got her meals that she always, when she buys chicken, these are the meals that she cooks using chicken, and these are the meals that she cooks using red meat. And my stepmom's quite a plain eater, but I love the food that my stepmom cooks. And I'm really happy to use my Flavorista pantry staples to add to her recipes. And that's what I said to her last night. She said to me, Amy, I'm such a plain eater. Like, what other things do you want to cook? And I'm like, Mum, I love the foods that you cook. I'll just use my Flavorista and I'll add to it. I'll just enhance things. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So for me, my stepmom is an amazing cook and she's an amazing planner, and her having a menu for the week, it gives her structure and it keeps her week organized, and she knows what she's cooking, and my stepdad knows what he needs to help with, like what he needs to put in the oven to reheat, or what he needs to take out of the freezer and put in the oven. So she's got effective communication in her relationship. So for me, my stepmom is my expert because she's a very logical person and she can really see things clearly. I'm a very emotional, very intuitive person. I'm very woo-woo, whereas she's like logical and she can really see things from a perspective that sometimes I'm just like totally closed off to. So you might be looking at a situation and you don't know the answer. You just see the problem. You don't see any solutions. You may not know how to get out of the situation. You can't see any options or solutions. And as I said a few nights ago, I am giving you permission that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to go to people and say, I don't know this. And you admitting that you don't know something does not mean you're stupid. It does not mean that you are dumb. It doesn't mean that you haven't paid attention. It means that you are an expert in other areas. You're an expert in other fields. Take me to a trivia night and there's questions about movies. I'll most likely be able to help you. Take me to a trivia night where it's about geography or sports, you're fudged. I can't help you. Like, if you take Matt and I to a trivia night, you've got a bit of a chance because he's, sports and I'm movies. So together, yeah. I'm happy to admit I don't know anything about sport. I'm happy to admit that I don't know about geography. I don't know where anything is in this world. I have a vague idea of things that are in the northern hemisphere and I have a vague idea of where things are in the southern hemisphere, but ask me where things are in relation to Australia. All I can tell you is New Zealand's over that way, and even then my mum will probably tell me that my bearings are off, and Papua New Guinea is up there somewhere, and Antarctica's down. That's really all I can help you with. Like, outside of that, I can't help you. Can't help you at all. So, for me, that doesn't mean I'm stupid that I don't know geography. That doesn't mean that I'm dumb that I don't know geography. That doesn't mean I'm not paying attention, because I choose to focus on other things. I choose to be the expert in the areas that bring me passion. An Egyptologist knows everything about ancient Egypt. A chef knows the ins and outs of food. A baker knows the ins and outs of all things patisserie. And it's okay to be an expert in something. It's okay to not do everything. One of my other mentors has been a hairdresser for 20 years, but her heart is that of a coach. Her heart is that of a mentor, and she's amazing when it comes to tarot card readings. She's amazing at when it comes to intentional breathing. She's amazing at when it comes to giving you real life guidance. That's her heart cry. That's what she's good at. And so she is, she's on that journey of really owning what her heart cry is for and what she is really an expert in and what lights her up. So when it comes to big things, break them down into their nuggets. And if you don't know how, you ask for help. If you don't see a solution, you ask for help. And there are people out there that they know the answers to your questions. They know the solution to your problem. They know how to navigate you out of your situation. When it comes to mortgages, there's a show on Netflix, How to Live Mortgage Free with Sarah Beeny. It's based in the UK. I think it's only 5 or 6 episodes, but Sarah follows a number of people as they choose to live differently to be mortgage free. And there's some incredible tips and ideas and suggestions that can really be applied anywhere to be mortgage free. You can actually, if you really watch the Tour de France and listen to the commentators and listen to, the coaches, you can really learn how to successfully do a huge bike ride. When it comes to Ironmans, if you actually watch an Ironman, you actually listen to the commentators or you listen to the coaches or you listen to the Ironman or the Iron Women, they do let you know what is their strategy leading up to a day. Hey, SJ, they let you know their strategy of, the things that they eat or the things that they do, so that they have an effective Ironman. Years ago, I was watching an Ironman, it was Kona, Hawaii. Oh, thank you. Make me feel so good, SJ. So it was Craig Alexander and he was going for his 3-peak. So if you're an Ironman and you win that Ironman 3 years in a row, you've 3-peaked. And this particular Ironman, there was an amputee, and he just made it through the swim. Like, he just made it to not get disqualified. And he did the bike ride, but he was so spent with the swim that he got disqualified during the bike ride. And during the run, you had like all the the road commentators. And this particular road commentator was chatting to a man who was 93. And this was like his 27th Ironman at the time. And the road reporter was like, how old are you? Because he did not look like a 93-year-old man. And he's like, I'm 93 years old, son. And the guy's like, why are you doing Ironman at 93 years old? And the guy goes, son, I love this. I love the community. I love the atmosphere. I love the environment. I love the environment of being in an Ironman. And the road reporter was like, oh, so is like this your last Ironman? And the guy's like, son, I'm doing this till the day I die. Whether this is my last Ironman or I've got 5 more in me. So when it comes to your big goal that can seem overwhelming, break it down into the little nuggets. And as you hit each checkpoint, it's going to become more fun. It's going to become more enjoyable. Now, the route that I was very lucky, SJ, my boyfriend does Scentsy, and as soon as I saw the Halloween stuff, I was like, get me Jack and Sully. And apparently I got them before they sold out, so I'm a very lucky girl. So Matt and I, when we do our walk around the botanical garden, we do quite an extensive route. And if I was to explain to someone the route that I do, someone might say, oh my gosh, you walk a really long way. But for me, I have checkpoints and I love to count. So I count to 100 and I take a photo. I count to 100, I take a photo. If there's a pretty tree in the springtime, all the flowers and the trees are blooming so they look stunning. So I'm taking photos of flowers, or I'm taking photos of trees, or I'm taking photos of Matt because he's walking ahead of me. And I have my checkpoints. So my first checkpoint is as we've got like a pole, and that like starts you getting into the botanical gardens. And then our next checkpoint is the first bridge. And then I've got the next checkpoint is another bridge. And then my final checkpoint is the final bridge. And for me, it's about getting to that bridge, getting to that bridge, getting to that bridge, getting to that bridge. And then we get to the car park and I'm like, yay, I did it. I did a whole lap. And sometimes I can get like 2 laps done and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. Time to go home. But that's what you need to do. With big, overwhelming things, break them down to their nuggets. What things do you need to put in place? What checkpoints do you need to create for yourself to achieve that overwhelming thing? And when I was on my walk, Universe showed me someone doing a jigsaw puzzle. Okay? With a jigsaw puzzle, you know, if you get a 500, puzzle or 1,000 pieces, you start off with, you find your 4 corners. And then you create one border, and then you create your second border, and then you create your third border, and then you create your frame. And then it's all about going round and round until you make the picture. And when you've got all the pieces everywhere, it can be hard to see that all of these pieces are going to fit together and make a picture. But once you make your first line, once you make your second and third line, once you make your frame, it's like, oh. And then as you put each piece together, it's like, oh yeah, oh, I can see it. And you start seeing this picture come together. And then you have your finished picture. And it's like, oh my gosh, look at what I did. Look at what I achieved. Matt, can you get me my cross stitching, please? I'm going to quickly show you something. I love to cross stitch. Over there. My flowers. So a cross stitching pattern, you get a white piece of fabric and you get a whole bunch of colored threads. And you've got a picture and you've got all the little symbols, and each little symbol relates to a color. And when you first start doing it, I can't even comprehend that somehow this is going to make a picture. But you keep at it and eventually you make a picture. And it can seem daunting and it can seem overwhelming. You can be doing the threads and it's like, oh, am I even getting anywhere with this picture? And then, suddenly, you make a flower. And then you make another flower. Then you make another flower. Then you make leaves. And then you have your picture. And I'm not saying you have to do cross-stitching or a jigsaw puzzle. But what I want you to understand is that if you try and look at this big thing that you want to achieve, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be daunting and stressful, and you're just going to throw the towel in. It's too hard. It's too much work. But break it down into the nuggets. Get to your checkpoints. And as soon as you hit your first checkpoint, you're like, oh, I can keep going. I will never do a marathon. Not because I can't physically do a marathon. I actively choose I'm not doing a marathon. But I love 10-kilometer fun runs. And I'm so brokenhearted that I can't do Colour Run next month. Like, I'm shattered because I love 10 kilometers. I love, the Colour Run. And for me, the checkpoints. If you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do a 10-kilometer fun run? It's all about the checkpoints. 1 kilometer, then the next kilometer, then the next kilometer, and you get your water breaks and you've got the people cheering you on. Great job, keep going. And you get to that finish line and you get your drink. That's all good, SJ. And you get your banana and you're so exhausted, but you feel so amazing and you're like, I'm going to do that again next year. Tough Mudder, Spartan races, Mud Rush. It's an obstacle course, 17 to 22 obstacles over, 9 to 15 kilometers. It's hard. I've done Mud Rush twice. It's hard. It's exhausting. And for me, it's just like, just get to the next obstacle. Just do this obstacle, get to the next obstacle. Do this obstacle, get to the next obstacle. And bear in mind, there were a few obstacles I missed, but I did a shitload of them. And when I ran over that finish line and I'm covered in mud and there's not a clean piece of skin on my body and my clothes are wrecked and my shoes are just there, I was exhausted at that finish line, but man, oh man, did I feel good. And I said to my my friends who did it with me, I'm like, so we're doing it next year again, right? And for a second they were like, fuck yeah, we're doing it next year. So if you just look at the big picture, it's going to overwhelm you and scare you. And you won't try doing it. Break it down to its nuggets and have your checkpoints, and it will actually be fun to do it. And when you get to the end, when you look back at all your checkpoints, you will be so proud of yourself and you're like, oh, let's do that again. Let's try and achieve something else. So, I would love for you to let me know what big thing you're going to break down into its nuggets and create the checkpoints. And I hope that you got incredible value out of tonight's session. I always value and appreciate when you're taking time out of your evening or time out of your morning to spend it with me. Now, as you know, I never pre-plan the next day's session. So I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow night's session or tomorrow morning's Power Talk meditation, 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful evening or have a beautiful morning, and I will see you tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. As always, be safe, be well, much love.